What's going on, everyone? Scotty White of World Combat Sports. I had a last minute interview. I want to hurry up and get out the way, while they still have time and they're not in practice. I'm going to interview the rising star, man. The boxing phenom himself, LoLo the coldest. They call him LoLo Harris. I'm going to interview his dad, Charles Harris. He just was able to complete his first fight over in Mexico. And I know you might be saying to yourself, well, that's his first fight. What's the big deal? And you're going to find out what's the big deal. This guy's special. This fight is special. So just stay tuned. I'm waiting on him to join. I sent them the link. So appreciate everybody stopping through. Be sure to hit the like button when you join, especially in the live chat. Show your support for this fighter. And, you have any questions for him, just, drop it in there, in the live chat, man. We're streaming 3 platforms, so it's all good. You know what it is. Just show your support for this rising star, and we're going to get it popping. We're going to talk about a lot of things, since he's just starting off, to get the kind of the backstory of Lolo Jones, especially his father, and maybe you yourself can start following this, this rising contender in the sport. But, I don't put him on the level of just any type of boxer that has a 1-0 record, because there's some fighters out there that has 1-0 records. You saying to yourself, like, I'm not sure about that. But no, this guy's legit. This guy is official. Seriously, this boxer is official. And he's going to be something special once he starts climbing the ladder in boxing. What's going on, Andrew? Salute to you. Let me drop this link again. Same link they got. So I'm just waiting for them to come over here. Everything Boxing. What's good? What's good, man? Y'all definitely need to check out Keon's Everything is Boxing, man, and share the content and everything. Have some solid topics of discussion. As always, be sure to subscribe and share his content. I'm waiting to get an interview with the one and only LoLo the coldest, LoLo Harris. He just returned from Mexico, getting his first win. But what's more important to me is for everyone to start, to kind of put a little bit of energy towards this young man, because he is a special fighter. I'm not sure if you've been able to look up his fight over there in Mexico, but the fighter is only 16 years old, y'all. 16 years old. And he looks the way he looks sharp. His fundamentals, his cachet thus far is very sharp. It's very special, and it's official. Of course, as he grow and he's stepping there with competition, we'll be able to witness what his skill set is when he started to compete. But right now, he's a special fighter, man, and you can see it. You can see what his dad's been doing with you. You can see the work that they've been putting in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see him progress up that boxing stairway, and get these fights. Of course, the rule with the age and everything else. So they're gonna be fighting kind of outside of this until they get that big call up when people start paying attention to it. And this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to, get the interviews with Lolo, push him, get his name out there, his training or whatever you have to do, because he's more than ready to be in that position, man. All he needs is support from new media. Support him while he's on the ground floor. So you can say, man, I knew that cat when he was on the ground floor. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. We good. Let me text his father back. Yeah, I'm watching it, man. Yeah, man. It was like what, 12-0 initially. Man, that was a pretty jumper, Anthony. Anthony hit in the first quarter. I was like, dang, elbow, everything in there. What's going on, Johnny Bum? How you feel, man? I don't really have a favorite fighter, man. I like Shakur Stevenson's mentality right now coming up through the game. I just like what he's saying he's gonna do. How he's moving as a fighter. I respect everything on how him and his grandfather is moving him. And I truly believe he's going to be in a 35 position soon enough. And he's going to be challenging some of the big names is there. But I really don't have favorite fighters. Like Deontay Wilder, hands down, is one of my top fighters in there because, he's awkward. He's not your typical prototype when it comes to people looking at the cliche boxer, but he is blessed with a unique set that you has to be born with. You can't teach power. You can teach timing to better power, but when you're blessed with power, it's always a chance you can knock your opponent out, always. And he was blessed. He was blessed 6'7" frame with weighted hands for weapons, and just so happen he's in boxing with it. You know what I'm saying? So he blessed with power, height, reach, all that. So yeah, for sure. I'm Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson. Period. Sugar Ray Robinson. That's my all-time Sugar Ray Robinson. SB90 say LeBron look young and hell tonight, man. For real, man. You know why he's showing out? Because it's Kobe Day. It's Kobe Bryant Day, y'all. That's why LeBron James is showing out. We got to reflect and show homage to Kobe, man. Salute, rest in peace, man. Show homage to Kobe. Definitely. Tragic accident, man. But rest in peace, to him and his daughter. For real. Stover Jr. says Sugar Ray Robinson is the best ever in my position. In my opinion, yeah. I like Sugar Ray and what he was able to do in the sport. And one of the youngest in the game to become champion. But over time on who he fought, what he was able to do in the sport, I like it, man. I look at his fights I look at his fights, man. I'm like, damn. This dude was tough. This dude was absolutely tough. You think about his one knockout loss, it's because he was dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? He lost that one knockout, man. I believe, he was dehydrated. He couldn't continue. The ref couldn't either. So he ended up losing the fight. If you also look at and what's that fight? If you look at Roy Jones Jr. fight with Montel Griffin, if you look at Roy Jones' record, he has on his knockouts, I believe they have him down as being stopped 5 times, but that's not the case. In boxing, if by chance, like in Roy Jones' case, he hit Montel while he was down and he was DQ'd, but they put the knockout loss on Roy's record, which to me is a farce. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to place a DQ because he hit him with a right, left, and then you're going to put that KO on Roy's record. I'm telling you, man, they got some crazy stuff, man. That they do in boxing. Sugar Ray once gave this guy who's making his debut, Rabach. I forgot his first name. I don't know his name, Rudy Rabach, whatever. But Rudy is one of the only guys in his debut to contend for a title, and the fighter that had the title was Sugar Ray Robinson. Of course, he beat him, but the man was making his debut and fought for a title, and Sugar Ray Robinson was the one who had the title. Johnny Bomb, no debate. Sugar Ray, the GOAT. Yeah, I like Sugar Ray. I'm not sure why. People don't show him his love, his just due the way it should be. People need to give that man his just due. You just can't say Muhammad Ali all the time. People tend to see Muhammad Ali for whatever reason they chose to, like not going in the military, fighting the war, being an activist, being out the sport to basically stand up for his rights, advocate for himself, and everything else. But a lot of people will frown upon that today, saying you didn't want to go over there and serve your country and all this other stuff. But you need to look outside of him boxing and then his activism and stop just saying, that's the only person to come to mind. Because a lot of things Muhammad Ali did in the ring, I wouldn't say it's smart for a lot of fighters to try to emulate, because he did take punches some of the areas of his skill set that he was trying to parlay as if that's some of the best thing to do, like the rope-a-dope. Nobody should be practicing the rope-a-dope. Nobody. In some fights he was missing, and he was be able to be in defensive and elusive. But a lot of fights, he took punishment. But I can tell you the one fighter in his resume that took it the hardest. We all know who that is when he beat him. Who was it there? Live chat. Come on, y'all let me know. The one fighter that took it the hardest, being defeated by Muhammad Ali. You know who he is. Come on. Y'all them intelligent heads, man. Come on now. Who was this guy? Who took it the hardest out of all Muhammad Ali opponents? Not Joe, everything boxing, not Joe. There you go, Johnny Bomb. George Foreman. George Foreman said losing that fight, he went into a deep depression. So therefore, after George Foreman lost that fight with Muhammad Ali, he returned to the ring to face 5 guys in one night. Now, before you get on the keyboard and start looking for these opponents, you're not going to find them, because in order for a fight to go on your box rec, it has to be sanctioned at least a 4 round. So George Foreman went into depression after losing to Muhammad Ali. He returned to the ring. Muhammad Ali was ringside, and he said, I want to fight 5 guys in one night. It was 3 rounds apiece. It was one of the biggest fiascos, and that's why I look at boxing different. Like, people get mad about simple stuff in boxing, but you had the situation like this with Muhammad Ali and George Foreman in this 5-man night of boxing that George Foreman went 3 rounds with each of them. And he didn't knock out all of them either. He went the distance with the last 2. But even George Foreman, he was, punching on his own corner. He got in a fight with one of the fighters who felt that George was trying to bully him. Big George was in a whole different mental set. You know what I'm saying? He was in a bad space right then. That Muhammad Ali had beat him. He was in a bad place. He was arguing with Muhammad Ali between every round. Muhammad Ali was coaching his opponents. Like who George was fighting, Muhammad Ali was coaching him. So it made George even more upset. So in his last opponent, he ended up finishing the fight or whatever. He went back over there. Muhammad Ali had left because he had another engagement. But he always talked about how he wish he would have died in the ring rather than that particular fight going the way it did. Because, George Foreman was one of the hardest punchers, man. He had came off some big defeats with Frazier and Norton, I believe. And he go in there with Muhammad Ali and get stopped. So he said he went into a deep depression, all that. So you probably heard that, George had left the sport for around 10 years and came back on the night, 45 years old, and fought Michael Moore. Michael Moore was much younger. I believe he still had Teddy Atlas in his corner. And yeah, George took some punishment that night, but I could still see it coming on. I could still see the punishment degrading Michael Moore, degrading him. And he ended up getting a knockout. I mean, it was beautiful. I was pulling for George. I ain't gonna lie. I was pulling for George that day. I was pulling for George. I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. Michael Johnson, Boxing Talking More. What's good, man? What's going on, Mike? Johnny said people think Mayweather over Sugar Ray Robinson. Hey, if you think Sugar Ray Robinson is a step below Floyd Mayweather, that's your opinion, but no way even close to this platform right here. No way even close. You don't want to hear where I have Floyd Mayweather in my top 10. Come on, man. I'm from the old school. When I started putting in them Sandy Sattlers. I started look at what Marty Ross did, Jack Johnson, Henry Armstrong. I started going through the gamut of who did what, from Joe Louis, all them cats, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvis Margaret Hagler, all that. And to be honest, when it comes down to me and the way I like about the old school, Floyd may not even be in my top 10. Especially him fighting a mixed martial artist for his 50th fight. That kind of perturbed me a little bit. I didn't quite understand or respect that at all. Him bringing a guy over here when, look, Rocky Marciano's in a whole nother division. Why are you going to bring an MMA fighter over here to break a record when you're not even in the same division as Rocky Marciano? Anyone could have retired undefeated. But why go over here and try to break a record no one's paying attention to except the magazines? Floyd Mayweather's not going to get the same recognition as Rocky Marciano for being 49-0, because even though Rocky fought some of them guys that was past their prime, he still fought boxers. Conor McGregor wasn't a boxer. Conor McGregor had amateur boxing experience in in Ireland, but he was a mixed martial artist. He came over to the UFC with 2 losses. He earned 2 more losses in there. He lost to Nate Diaz, and then he lost to Khabib the Nurmagomedov. Since then, he never defended one of his titles when he picked them up. He became champion in the featherweight division and the lightweight division. He never once defended one title. But in between that, he did what he had to do and fought Floyd Mayweather and made hundreds of millions. So I salute him for that. Chop Chop say, man, I know you ain't got a top 10 and I ain't in there. What's good, champ? What's good with you? George Foreman, I heard of that. Yeah, you're right. I had forgot about that. He's the hardest puncher. Yeah, George Foreman is the only active. We're talking about George Foreman, a former champion, world champion, He fought 5 guys, boxers. They all were in soft touches. And he fought them 5 guys on one night to prove to the people. But what happened? They started throwing bottles and stuff in there at him. George was turned up that night. You know, it was a different George than what you see today. It wasn't a humble George. It was the Afro George and the big George that'll slap the taste out your mouth and put your ass to sleep with one punch. It was crazy. Look it up on YouTube. It was a crazy night for George. Johnny Vaughn say no, he's the hardest punch. What you mean, Chop? What you mean say hell no? What you got Mayweather? I give him around 30s. Mayweather, in my opinion, as the boxers I like, you know what I'm saying? I have a little bit of bias of like these older school fighters and the activity that they fought back then and who they fought. He's not in my top 10. I don't care. I stand on my square. Mayweather's not in my top 10. You know, when it comes to certain things, these fighters, the records that they have, you know, all that. Johnny said he got him in 30. Facts, George could KO with tiny punches. Chop flying out the best fighter over Rocky Marciano. Flying out the best fighter over Rocky Marciano. Flying out the best fighter. Oh, okay. I get you. You say you flying with Floyd? You flying with Floyd? Because I know you out there all the time. Those of you not know, that's Chop Curly, former multi-time world champion, man. Still in shape like it's yesterday. And you know, he always pops up around here. You know, Chop is one of the old breeds of boxing because the man has over 80 fights. And he's still up here like he can jump on the scale tomorrow and step in the ring and get a fight, man. Tremendously in shape. And I salute you for your career, Chop. You one of the old school OGs of boxing, man. So I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but salute to you for what you did, man. Sugar Ray Robinson, Harry Greb, Henry Armstrong, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, all that. ATC, what's so special about Henry Armstrong, though? Hey, ATC, what's so special about Henry Armstrong? Don't take forever, man. What's so special about him? TC, come on, bro. He was great. Come on, man. No. What was so good about what he do? Big long record. You talking about 250? What? What was his record, man? 251 and 21 or something like that. But what did he do, big dog? Hey, y'all hold on for a second, please. Yeah, my fault. Another fight card that I have to that I want to go to, but let me check this out. Okay, TC, this is what I'm trying to say. When I asked the question about, you mentioned all those names, which those names they have substance, they have anchors in the sport of boxing. But one special thing about Henry Armstrong, he held titles in three different weight class simultaneously at the same time when there was only 8 divisions in the sport. You know who he beat for his welterweight title? He beat Marty Ross in a very tough fight. That's what I'm saying. What did he do that was special? First of all, people say, outside of his experience, he held 3 titles. That's all. I mean, you talking about he was champion when they was frowning on blacks. I mean, it's a lot of other criteria you can talk about, but I understand that. But more so, you can look around Jack Johnson for all that and everything, and Sam never being able to fight him because Jack Johnson wouldn't fight him. Junior, what's good? He said Tim Zhu reminds me of a young Kell Brook. Thinks Zhu Jr. beats Jeff Horn pretty handily tomorrow. I'm just curious to see how he handles Jeff Horn's, leverage. Jeff Horn is a tough, gritty, grimy Aussie. The way he fights. He'll close distance, get close, and try to make it dirty. And he gets dirty sometimes. So it's all about the referee. It's all about how Jeff Horn's cardio is. We're looking forward to seeing Zoo. I want to see Zoo in there, man. See how he looks and everything. I'm looking forward to that fight myself. Yeah, but Henry Armstrong was legit, man. A lot of people have him, but he held titles in three different divisions at the same time. Him and Marty Ross had a knockout, bang out fight for the welterweight title, and Marty Ross took a beating to defend his title. I mean, he took a beating from Henry Armstrong, and he lost that title. That's how that's how much I dig into that. That old school, fighters back then. Henry Armstrong, he put a beating on Marty Ross. Marty Ross was tough though, man. What did Harry Greb do that was so special? Their TC. What did Harry Greb do that was so special? Just drop it in the live chat. I want to know what was he able to do that people remember him. Um, People remember him from. What was he able to do, man? It's a time we don't have all these champions at weight class. Beat more champions than anyone else. What I was looking for was the Gene Tooney and Harry Greb. You remember? Let me see if he hit me back yet. I was really looking to. We'll see. You know, fighters have their own schedule, but fought every week. Yep, not like a Canelo. I'll tell you like this. But what was the special thing about Gene Tooney and Harry Greb though? Wasn't it something like someone defeated somebody, first and only person to do it? You know, somebody was undefeated at their weight class, never been beat, but Harry Greb might have been that guy. You know what I'm saying? Who lost? Gene Tooney and Harry Greb lost the. I'm saying one special point for Harry Greb. What was he able to do for Gene Tooney? People talk about it all the time today. You found a way, yeah, TC. So basically, Harry Greb was the only man to defeat Gene Tooney. At what weight class? It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It wasn't that Harry. It wasn't at his regular weight class though. He defeated Gene Tooney at a lightweight weight class, but Gene Tooney was undefeated at heavyweight. He never lost. Who was the first fighter to win a divisional world championship 4 times? Who's the first boxer to win the divisional championship 4 times? 5 times, actually. Who was the first to do it 5 times? Come on, that's easy work. Who's the first to win the divisional title 5 times? Come on, boxing head, let's go. Let's go. Who was the first to win the divisional title 5 times? Come on now. Drum roll, drum roll. Nope. A divisional title. What are you saying, TC? What you saying? Yes, it is a divisional title 5 times. I said nope. You said yes, it is. I don't. I'm not gonna be disrespectful with you, but I'm just gonna drop this in here right quick. For you to see where I'm going with it. I'm gonna make it easy for you. I'm gonna help you out there, TC, because you think because I say no, I'm just saying no just because. But I usually don't ask the old school knowledge because it'll stump a lot of people. But yeah, I'm always roaming around in the old school catch, knowledge bank, man, because that's a part of boxing. You say Tommy Hearns, and I say nah. It ain't no skipping it, shouty. It's no skipping it. It's no skipping it. It's just look, it ain't a competition, bro. If I could do this every day, cool. I'll do it because people tell me stuff. I get educated. I tell you stuff. You get educated. It's all accessible somewhere. So all I'm saying is, who was the first to win a divisional title 5 times, man? And I know it's easy to say Tommy Hearns did, 4 divisions. Then he the first to do the 5 divisions, 5 division champion, 4 division champion, 5 division champion. But I said, who was the first to win a 5 division championship 5 times? I'm gonna give you another nugget. While he's doing that, people, I'm gonna move on with some stuff that's in boxing. For what I hear, that Canelo is trying to make moves and get signed with Showtime or whatever the case may be. The only benefit to that, I would say, if he's going to get signed somewhere else and he's able to get out of his contract, make him fight. Make him fight somebody that's top tier. Allow him to fight somebody that's top tier. That's what we want from Canelo Alvarez. We want to see him fight somebody that we can just look forward to seeing that it's going to be a competitive fight. He's not going up here just to scoop up a title and then egress from the scene. No, we want him to go in there and fight some of the names that he's been avoiding. Either Charlo or Andre. Let's see him fight Charlo or Andre. Charlo goes in here and defeats Sergey Derevyanchenko. Well, Canelo, you need to fight Jamal Charlo. You need to fight Demetrius Andrade. Please allow us, that moment. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's Sugar Ray Robinson. It's just, some education. Look, we can dip back in those days and talk about people who the fighter won the WBA and WBO championship twice in 2 weight class and defended it. We can talk about, certain individuals that fought 17 champions and beat 15 of them. Man, it's so much history. I'm talking about so much history with the old school boxers. Unbelievable. But I don't talk about it much on here unless someone's willing to talk about it, because most of the discussions are with current events. The big deal, if you haven't heard, right? You tell me. The big deal that I haven't heard, I mean, that I don't agree with, is that it's potentially a Dylan White will receive a rematch. They're trying to make that rematch. Now, you tell me if a fighter get dropped and closed out in the 5th round, and he's supposed to be a top contender fighting for a spot to face the WBC World Champion, should he get an immediate rematch when he was knocked the fuck out? Where do we do that at? Look, they both have drug exemptions over there. They kind of, had a back and forth about the gloves. Dylan White goes in there and drops Povetkin and seems like he's having a pretty good go. We was appreciating the way Dylan White was coming to play. And then he gets shut out. He throws a lazy right jab, and Povetkin counters it with a stiff, brutish uppercut. That left uppercut slept Dillian, froze him up, and put him out under the ropes. Almost like the same knockout Joe Smith did to Alida Alvarez. Yes, the same Joe Smith that sent B-Hop out of the ring. Yes. Alida Alvarez kind of got some of his same medicine because he did the same thing to freaking Michael Seals. He knocked him out. And he was down there by the front bottom rope. It was just amazing accumulation on how that whole thread worked. But you don't follow Joe Smith, man. You need to follow that guy. I'm waiting for him to get back with me on the interview. I did. I'm waiting on him to get back with me for an interview because I've been asking him before his fight. Also, I'm going to attempt to get in contact with Clay Collard. Clay Collard is like on a roll right now. I think he has like 3 or 4 wins in 3 months or something like that. So he's on a roll. And also I reached out to a member of Dillian White's camp, but they wouldn't give me an interview right now. At least they responded. I appreciate that. If they're watching, I appreciate it. But I did reach out to someone in Dillian White camp, and they said, thanks, pal, not right now. So I said, cool. I respect that. He's ducking. I'm not campaigning at 60. He's not campaigning at 60. Who's not campaigning at 60? Canelo hasn't aborted 160 yet. Canelo still has work to finish at 160. So, of course, he's fighting at the higher weights if he want to go up there 168 or whatever. But guess what? He can come down from 168 to 160 easy. He was going to try to take Yildirim, his old sparring partner, up there to try to scoop up the WBC belt. But he never was trying to do that when Benavidez was the active champion. He was never calling out Benavidez. So he wanted to go up there and scoop up a belt. And I'm glad it was denied. I'm glad boxing, for once, stuck their foot in the mud and say, no, we're not doing this. So what's next? He can come back down to 160. He can fight Mauro Charlo for a big fight, especially if he signed with PBC. He can fight Mauro Charlo. Hey, we can see that. Mauro Charlo needs that name on his record, y'all. On his resume. Tell me if I'm lying. Mauro Charlo needs that name on his resume, y'all. I'm being honest with you. He does. He needs that name on his resume. Andrew Charles said, Clay Collard fight of the year, man. Look, I like Clay, man. I like his the way he has this high risk, gritty, confident type of fighting style. He was stopped before, but fighters improve. He's a mixed martial artist and a boxer. But every time Clay is on the card, I'm looking because I like the way he go in there and don't worry about anything. Say, let's go. He gonna let his nuts hang. He gonna go in there and fight. Every time he's on the card, I got to see the card. What he did to Kaminsky, Kaminsky was 19 years old, and he put a beating on that kid. And he probably put him out the sport for a little bit because of suspension so he can heal up. But Clay Collard put a beating on Kaminsky. And Kaminsky is a young gunner, a young lion that was supposed to go in there and beat Clay Collard up. It didn't happen. So keep your eye out for Collard, man. Keep your eye out for him. Benavidez said he wants to unify with Plant. and have no more fights before Canelo. In order for him to unify, he need to get a belt back. So, if he want to fight Canelo for the vacant, cool. Fight Canelo Alvarez for the vacant. But when you lose a title the way he did, damn near 3 pounds overweight, you shouldn't be able to come back and pick and choose your opponent to fight for the vacant. No, you ain't trying to go ahead and fight Jalen Love. Jalen Love, rather. No. We want you to fight somebody tough to get that title back, because you keep on losing it for reasons that has nothing to do with inside the ring. So therefore, we understand your lack of discipline. So I think you should come back for a hard fight. I think if Canelo wants the belt, Canelo should call out freaking Benavidez and make that happen. Besides that, send Caleb Plant over there. Send Caleb Plant over there to fight somebody for the vacant WBC so he can become unified champion. I like Caleb. I like Sweet Hands. You know what I'm saying? I like Sweet Hands. His boxing style, the way he go about there and conduct business in the ring, I like him, man. I got respect for him. He was winning each round, though. Anyone can get clipped. Yes, Brother Boxing. Let me see. Who's getting clipped? He's not campaigning 160. Man, hey, TC, you need to put names on here, man. I'm not a freaking Dragamon. I'm not sitting up here touching my screen trying to read Braille. Sometimes I'm talking into the camera. You have to put some names up here, bro. Like B-Hop was old and on the layoff. Don't matter. Joe Smith put him out the ring. He put Alida Alvarez out the ring. It don't matter. They've even said he wants to unify with Plant. Make it happen. He took out my boy Gajardo, so I was a little salty. But since then, he's been fun to watch. He has a great year. Man, he has, man. He's been on the roll. And they're going to keep on pumping him up. His record is still, he got 2 losses. His record is okay. But right now, he's getting paid. And he's popular. And I did reach out to him. So I'm hoping he blessed me. And, I don't know how quick his turnaround is. How much time he takes off from a fight before he hops back into training camp. No, when David was a champ, he wanted to unify with Plant and have one more fight before he fights. I don't totally agree with that, TC. He wasn't trying to unify with Plant. He tried to send Plant a contract when he was already in camp with Vincent Feigenboots. And being in a hard camp with Vincent Feigenboots fighting in his hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, they sent him the contract right when the fight was damn near over, and it would allow him only to have a week or so off. He would have had to jump right back in a hard training camp to fight Benavidez. So what they tried to do is put him in a hard place, so he would be somewhat overtrained before he goes in there and fight Benavidez. That is the backstory, because I was there. And I was talking with Caleb Plant about it on the elevator. No cap. The only reason I don't have it on video because Caleb told me like Sergey Kovalov, no cameras. That's fact. If you think I'm BSing, ask freaking Badu Jack's trainer. Ask Larry Wade. Larry Wade was on the elevator too. Yeah, David said that he was trying to, send Caleb Plant a contract, but guess what? You cannot sit up here and believe every contract is sent out as factual, because we don't know what's in the contract. So when they send these contracts out, you got to look at the time that fighter has just got out of the fight camp. He went in there and had a pretty tough go of Vincent Feigenboots, a very tough German fighter. And then he did end up stopping him, but he still put in some rounds. So therefore, you get out, you end up getting the contract. You just got out of the fight camp, and they're trying to give you a fight. Just say the fight was in February, and they're trying to say, well, we want to give you a contract to fight mid-April. So you saying, okay, I just finished the fight, damn near the end of February, and you want me back in the ring by April? And Caleb was like, hell no, that ain't even fair. That's not fair right there, because I have to take some weeks off, let my body recover, and then I got to get back in the training camp. So that's why that fight never happened at all. Not yet, of course. Well, people, it happens like this sometimes. I'm trying to see if they still dropping through, people. If not, I'm going to have to touch base. Okay, while I'm here, I will have a live. I could talk about it tonight, but I'm not sure if they're going to drop through or not. But I am going to have a live and talk a little bit about the bare knuckle fighting situation. Some of the transitions have been going on from the UFC to bare knuckle fighting. I like what I'm seeing. Also, I want to talk about the return of Rumble Johnson, on, you know, how he's playing a role over there, bare knuckle fighting. He's not fighting, but he's playing a role over there. To him basically returning to the UFC now that John Jones has absquatulated from the division. So you take John Jones potentially, you know, vacating his belt, and Anthony Rumble Johnson coming back to the light heavyweight division is going to be big, because he's obviously the heaviest hitter in that division if he returned, right? My only problem is, what good of shape is Anthony in? Can he still deliver that power? I have a question with Anthony's heart in certain situations. I just seen him give up against Daniel Cormier twice. He was subbed out via RNC twice by Daniel Cormier. So that sticks with me a little bit. Like, I just felt like if he couldn't knock him out, he just basically gave up. And his corner was like, when your corner is telling you, don't you quit, don't you quit, don't you quit. And DC is just tightening up that dang RNC, choked him out, and the rest is history. He didn't even try to, you know, he didn't try to work for a better position. He didn't try to defend, hand, you know, 2-on-1, try to break the grip and try to get in transition to a better place where he can try to frame up, make it back to his feet up against the cage. He didn't try to fight the hands. When you see a fighter with both of their hands on the ground and your neck is being squeezed, you're not doing anything. You're like, okay, hurry up so I can tap. You're not doing it. The rule of thumb, especially in BJJ on the mat, you at least go 2-on-1. You reach up there 2-on-1, boom, snatch down. 2-on-1, pull down. If you got one, you take that arm. If you're in a position and they're behind you, they have partial back control. You take this arm that you have 2-on-1, you place it on the outside, on the opposite side of your head, so you can kind of use that arm as momentum to turn into your opponent. Stover Jr. said, fantasy fight, Roberto Duran versus Felix Tito Trinidad welterweight. I can't really get into fantasy fights tonight. I would rather do that during the daytime, because it's definitely something. Look, it's definitely something that'll be good for talking points. Real talk. That's not true, Johnny. Once you're in the choke, it's pretty much done. That's not true. I know that for a fact. It is not true. It's according to who's choking you. Not everybody knows how to choke. And then when the choke initially began, where's your chin at? And what's your placement? Okay. Shelton said, what do you think to Brian Cuss revealing Deontay Wilder has been issued a gag order by the PBC and is completely unapproachable by the media, do you think the third fight happens realistically? Good question, Shelton. Good question. Now, if they gave Deontay Wilder a gag order on the situation, just dealing with Tyson Fury in general, because new media has basically put a whole different canopy over the suspicion that Tyson Fury cheated for that fight. Now, the PBC all of a sudden, told Deontay Wilder, we don't want you speaking on the fight, because we understand that with politics of boxing is what? Business. So therefore, in order for them to make this fight happen, they don't want Deontay Wilder coming out here telling the people what he had to go through, how he felt, the gloves when he was getting hit. They just don't want him to elaborate anything that was going on that night, because it's really going to take the focus off the fight. And they really want these two to go back in the fight. I believe they're actually trying to get the gathering, the capacity to potentially have some people attend the fight. Believe me, they're trying to work with it. I've heard it behind the scene. They're trying to work so that this fight can have a gate. It's that big. This is a huge fight. You're talking about Fury going down twice in the first fight, Deontay going down, twice in the second fight with the towel coming in from his corner, to coming back in here and really being in a bigger fight than any of the first two. The reason why it's so big is that the winner sets himself for a clear opportunity to face Anthony Joshua. Now, guess what? If Deontay Wilder wins that fight, we all know it gets nasty. So if the PBC wants to issue a gag order or NDA, they have the right to do it. They're trying to build this fight up as big as possible. And if Deontay Wilder comes out and start talking shit about Mauricio Suleiman, the president, it can get nasty. They pretty much don't want Deontay Wilder to be in litigation or being sued. They'll leave it up to us, the new media, to talk shit about what they feel about the WBC, who wasn't back there watching him glove up, a glove situation. Tyson Fury used the Paffin gloves, which are partners with the WBC. So, of course, it's going to be some interest and concern on whether gloves, the way they're supposed to be. The WBC is partners with Paffin. Why was the freaking lights or the cameras turned out? The cameras turned off or unplugged when we had a full-blown media stream for the fans and everybody. Why did they unplug it before the fight? A lot of that comes into play, okay? Not to get too deep into it, but I can understand why they're giving Deontay Wilder a gag order, so to speak. So when he does decide to talk, which I would think it would get closer and closer to the fight, and then the champ would start coming out and talking about it. And it probably would have been with one of the larger networks. It's definitely not going to be one of us. I'm not saying it can't, but if he comes and give an interview to some of his favorite new media, I'm pretty sure he's gonna let it be known. But them giving him a gag order, boxing is a business, and sometimes they just want this trilogy to come into play so they can make the most money for it. But they know it's some dirty shit out there. It's some residue out there, man. And that shit is floating up on the surface right now. But they don't want to do an investigation about it. It needs to be done. But all I want to see is, let's get Deontay Wilder back in the ring. I know he has the capabilities of going in there, getting his title back. Deontay Wilder's a tough dude. He was built for the kill. He was built to be the king. He was built for that. So you know what it is, man. I'm still supporting the champ. Wilder did say Fury didn't hurt his legs. Wilder did say Fury didn't hurt his legs. I'm not sure what Fury was saying he hurt his legs, you know. But I agree. Wilder does has a puncher's chance. Absolutely. Deontay Wilder is the heaviest hitter in boxing, regardless of what happened on that night, February 22nd. But when it comes down to it, look, I've witnessed Deontay Wilder. I've heard the sound. I was there when he KO'd Luis Ortiz. I was there when he KO'd Brazil. I seen him in fight camp. Deontay Wilder has freaking dynamite TNT in his hands, and he can hurt you with his left hand too. He just don't set it up to be his power shot. So he can hurt you. Period. He can. I'm not really getting into the leg situation because if indeed Deontay Wilder had a leg situation, I'm pretty sure it'd be cleared up this next time around because he would have had close to 9 months before they stepped back in the ring. So granted, he had to get surgery on his bicep, let that heal up, and then take it easy, get back in there, shadow box, get his coordination back, get the tendons right, the muscle back in that arm, and then get approved and cleared for sparring. Almost the same what Errol Spence went through. He had a car accident. He started to heal. He had to get some tests done, make sure all this was clicking up here. Once that was good, the only thing that was left is the post. He had to get posted there before he started sparring. But he can still go in there and hit the bag. He can still go through mid drills, go running, get in shape. So that's all a plus, But I'm going with Deontay Wilder on the rematch. I don't believe Tyson Fury was that type of fighter, all of a sudden got this power. Nah, I don't believe that. Prove it to us. Prove it to us you are this new regenerated fighter. Prove it to us. That's all I'm saying. Prove you can do it 2 times in a row. Because I don't think you can. I don't think Fury can do it. That's just me. I don't have any confidence. I don't want any confidence. I'm going for Deontay to come in there healthy, COVID free, with TNT Ambien on his gloves like he always have. That's all I want to see from Deontay. Go in there, box smart, and put a whooping on Fury. I'm telling you, man, I can only imagine Deontay Wilder's feeling some type of way, man, about, everything that's done came up to the surface and been in the news. Yeah, he's feeling some type of way. Yeah, believe that. Andy Ruiz. If you don't know who Andy Ruiz is, he was one of the champions a while back that was able to be a last-minute replacement for Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller was at the best opportunity of his life right now, coming over to the States, having a pretty decent presser, pushing Joshua, everything, living up to the expectation of animus between these two. And he popped positive. So he lost millions. So for a last-minute replacement, Hearns sent his hounds out to try to find another replacement. So they say, hey, look at the guy over there by the bubblegum machine. Yeah, the guy that's over there eating a double-decker chocolate sundae with bananas and strawberries on top. What's his name? Go over there and ask what his name is. And then he was like, Andy. He said, your name, Andy? Yeah, you're a boxer? I heard you're a boxer. Yeah, I'm a boxer. Oh, okay. You want to come fight the champ? Are you in any type of shape? No, not really. I go to the gym whenever I feel like it, though. All right. So they went there and got this kid who was over there eating a Snicker banana split. And they asked him, did he want to go fight Joshua? And come to find out, the kid could box better than Joshua or anybody on his team expected. And he went in there and put on a superb performance for that night. He boxed Joshua. He was active. He was the aggressor. He never allowed Joshua, when he landed that 1-2, to just stay there and let him get off and say, okay, I'm just going to allow you to have that. No. Every time Joshua fired off, he returned. Joshua hit him with 2 punches. He returned with 4 punches. He was a much more active fighter. And when it came down to it, he was able to return and make it back to his feet from an early knockdown to knocking Joshua down. And even got Joshua to the point of frustration where he quit. Joshua spit out his gum shield, and the referee was talking clear English that Joshua knows. And Joshua was looking around, to his corner, and the referee called the fight. He quit. The same shit Amir Khan did against Terrence Crawford. Anthony Joshua quit, period. But yeah, Andy Ruiz, man, hey, he said, I'm glad Dillian White got knocked the fuck out. That's what Andy Ruiz said. He wasn't playing. He wasn't capping. He wasn't doing none of that. That's what he said. He said it was his legs. I'll give T.O. better chance against Lomo than Wilder does to Fury. Poor. I mean, opinion, okay. But I'm definitely giving T.O. the opportunity over Loma, as I'm giving Wilder a better opportunity over Tyson Fury, TC, because if you've been in there for a third time with your opponent, of course you're going to know, and you have understanding as to what they do. So you have to work on it. Y'all have to go in there and fight. So if T.O.'s never been in there with Lomachenko before, why would you even say you give him a better chance? He's never been in there with T.O. He never been in there with T.O. before. But Deontay Wilder has fought this guy twice, and he understands who he's in there with. He's just going to have to be on his A plan and go get that belt back. Ruiz don't beat Wilder. Wilder will knock Ruiz into a Taco Tuesday stand, man. Come on, bro. Stop playing like that. Don't start getting goofy, TC. Don't start getting goofy. Ruiz ducked White. Andy Ruiz, in my opinion, will beat Dillian White, in my opinion. Hey, Charles Harris, I sent you the link to I'm gonna drop it in here. I'm gonna drop it in here to you right there. I sent it to your phone, but I'm gonna drop it in here. There you go. This is going to be my first time actually interviewing Charles Harris on my own. And so, I just want to touch bases on some questions and chat it up with Charles Harris. Hey, what's good, everyone? Hey, I have the one and only Mr. Charles Harris on deck. And not only that, he's he's in a special position right now when it comes to boxing. He has 3 sons that are rising prospects, but potential stars in the sport of boxing. He's been doing an awesome job with that. He has one fighter right now that just returned from Mexico, now officially undefeated. He is the coldest, and that's LoLo the Coldest Harris. And welcome, Mr. Harris, to the platform, man. How you feel today?
I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling good. How you doing?
I just had the compliment on what I respect about you, man. I remember you pulling up to the scene, and you was giving a story about how y'all went over to Vegas, and you didn't even have any contacts. You had no contacts, bro.
None.
Who does that?
Hey, that's how you know it was God's plan. You hear me? When you go like that and you end up getting, what you got, it was only God's plan, man. For real, because that ain't by coincidence. But like you said, no contacts. Nobody. Had nobody.
Man, you know what you're doing, man. You willing to, get the squad together. And what I call the deployment. Y'all went on deployment. And like you said earlier, I heard you say somewhere else that you really wanted to see where your son was at. You know what I'm
That's
saying? As a father and trainer, you want to see where your son at. So take us when y'all got over there, when y'all arrived over there in Vegas, man. I know you told it several times now. And listen, people, he ain't capping, because you know what? Since he's put this out, no one's responded and say, "Nah, that didn't happen."
Nobody disputed it, huh?
No one.
That's the same thing I was thinking. I mean, I was waiting for it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, what can they say, man? I mean, when I got out there to Vegas, we just we just got to calling around, looking and calling people, and the guy gave me a call back and said Devin Haney wasn't available. And then I got another call from another man that said that, we got the best sparring in Vegas for you, which is Tank.
So when you heard the Tank name instead of Devin, you were still getting a top name right now. He just came off that win against Gamboa down here in the ATL. So, he has some skylight to him, except, he signed the Floyd too. So take us, I know y'all said y'all was deep. So take us as you entered the gym, being in there for the first time. Yeah. How was that energy like? What did you go through there, Charles?
Man, it was a whole lot of hating type vibe going on, man. I don't know. It just seemed off. The aura was off. Guys was mad dogging me, literally. You feel me? But it's crazy when it's like that. But I've been in them type of gyms before where, they don't know you, they don't like you, and they rooting for their guy. So it was kind of like that feeling, everybody, us against everybody.
Was it more like mean mugging, or did you feel somebody might start to talk trash just a little bit more aggressively? Because I know y'all say y'all rolled up in there pretty deep. So was it just like a verbal sparring and everything, or did y'all actually feel like it might get physical?
When we first got in there, it felt like it was just it felt like go either way. You know what I'm saying? Around there, it felt like it could go either way. I ain't gonna lie. It felt like, if somebody said the wrong thing, it might be a problem up in here, but, like you said, I welcome that type of thing. And me and LoLo have been going in those odd type feeling places since he was 8 years old,
So what was the first thing LoLo told you when everything started to spark up the way it did, Charles? Like, you found out that, okay, they ain't trying to treat us with no respect. They trying to give us, the arrogance. They trying to treat us like we don't belong here. Did LoLo ever turn to you and ask you something or say something to you about the situation?
I did to him, though. At that time when I felt that and I seen that,
yeah,
I leaned there and I said, fuck him. Tank puts his shoes on just like you. Let's do this. And just straight up. And LoLo said he felt comfort in that. He heard that and it made him, okay, let's do it. Kind of poke his chest out, like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because he's seen it. I mean, I could feel and go through all the things, but LoLo's the one that's getting in the ring. You know what I mean? And I'm just glad that I had the type of kid that rose to that occasion and seeing how they were looking, and he didn't buckle down as a kid and kind of shrink. He kind of said, let's do it, and that's what a young lion is going to do,
So how many rounds was agreed upon there, Charles, to start this off?
4 rounds.
4 rounds. Okay. So after the first round, they go in there. Was it something that you seen in the first round that you say, because I know your whole mentality was, say, I want to see how my son, how he performs in this particular situation. Because it happens a lot in boxing. Fathers like yourself, they really want to see where his son at. But you happen to be in there with the current champion and, 2-division champion. So what did you see in the first round?
I seen he was loading up. I seen Tank was loading up, looking for one shot. I could see it. I could see that, they wanted LoLo to throw a bunch of punches at him while he's moving around, tire LoLo out so he could go ahead and do his thing. We seen it. Matter of fact, Lolo heard Floyd tell Tank that, let him throw all his low punches and then go ahead and go ahead and do your thing, and that just never ended up happening.
They thought it was gonna be an easy day, but they just didn't understand who was in the gym, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was thinking. Right plan, wrong man. You know what I mean?
So you saying the middle rounds it went pretty, it became pretty active. They was trading, they was exchanging with one another, if I'm not mistaken.
I say the first 2 rounds was like I said, it was hardly that much action. Third, fourth rounds got a little more spicy for sure. But Lolo was just throwing more. But Lolo was stocking him the whole time. From first round through fourth, he was stocking Tank, you know what I mean? And Tank came at a couple times. And, what Lolo did was get out the way, duck, slide around, and get right out the way of that, you know what I mean? So, he also showed great defense, which I know Floyd had to respect. You know what I mean? Floyd, Mr. Defensive, you know what I mean? What can you say when you see a young guy doing defense? You know what I mean? I think it was when Floyd seen that, and I heard, like my son tells me, Floyd was saying, don't run now. And that's what Lolo, when he heard him say that, Lolo said, when I heard him say that, I stayed right out in the middle of the ring and just started letting my hands go. You know what I mean? Just to let him know he was saying in his mind, you know what I mean? In his mind, to let him know I could still do this. Matter of fact, world class, like Lolo was playing with him at the end. He was hitting him. Yeah, he was clowning. Like it was like, so that's why, you know what I mean? You can see why Tank was mad. Lolo was squared up and touching him, going both ways, side to side. Bong, 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 bong. You know what I mean? And Floyd looking at somebody almost playing with his champion, I know that's what made his head go like this. Like, yeah. He kind of doing something like is he kind of clowning my champion there right
Yeah.
now? He kind of that's Lolo. That's the excitement that he is. He's been like that. He's been one of those guys that rises like that. And then, I think the explanation point when he put his arm around Tank's shoulder, it showed me what type of guy I got. You know what I'm saying? Lolo's beast in his mind and everything. You know what I mean? To do that, to walk up on a guy behind him and put his arm around him, and he's the world champion. You know what I mean? To me, that kind of, you feel me? I was thinking like, damn, like, boy, you ahead of your time. You know what I mean? It just felt like you like a Michael Jordan in his prime to me. Telling the older champ, good run. But I was right here with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was even more than what I expected could ever happen. You know what I mean? For real.
Hey Charles, the only thing that was missing is Lolo putting his arm around him and taking his left glove and, hey, good job, son. Rubbing him on the top of his head. You know how they do, rub him on the top of his head. Say good.
Dab his hand, so he dabbed Tank's hand for him. Like he just his hand was sitting there, and Lolo just smacked his other hand, like went all in front of him and touched his hand to just like make him dap it, and then dapped everybody else, But yeah, he did everything but give him a noogie.
But in the aftermath of it all, Charles, obviously what Floyd seen caught his eye. He was impressed. He downloaded the data. I know he was probably looking at Lolo Charles and be like, man, I just wonder how close-knit of a unit these cats are, his family is, because I would definitely like to sign Lolo. So when Floyd start, binding down a little bit and kind of giving you that communication, what were you thinking that he was leading to when he said he can make your son a world champion? Did you think, okay, we convinced one of the greatest that your son is the real deal?
Yeah, it definitely, when I heard that, it was like, it was just wild. I mean, what a feeling, you know what I mean, to have here. And like you said, one of the greats go ahead and say something like that about your son, and the lady kept telling us, she never heard Floyd talk like that, you know. And obviously, for her saying that, she's saying obviously she's around there a lot, you know, and
Mm.
she's a lot of sparring, you know. But she's saying I've never heard nothing like that. I never heard Floyd talk like that to anybody. So I thought that was real big, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't take it for granted, you know what I mean? We're right here, you know. I left at the end of the day. I left. I ended up texting his peoples who asked for my information, you know what I mean? And I texted him and said, "This Lolo's dad." So, you know, they never responded or said anything, but you know how they are. They probably move a different way, you know what I mean? And you know, but yeah, that was special, man. What a moment.
Do you all think that's a good fit for you all, TMT, being that they have a history that's okay? They don't have a really good history of raising boxers up to be superstars. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Let's be honest. Tank is the only thing that Floyd got.
Correct.
I mean, Rolly, come on now. You know what I mean? That's, you know, I mean, he's in a whole different class, you know, but yeah, we've also thought that, but you know, I also think that when you just got that guy, you got that guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Floyd would be attracted to that guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
I think Floyd would take that guy real serious. That reminds him that's got that dog and that high boxing IQ. He put him somewhere. That's what he's saying because he'd be so fan friendly. You know what I mean? You know, Lolo's a good looking kid and he's athletic and all of that. I think still we can't say that because it ain't a bunch of tanks walking around. It's, you know what I mean? You know how
Right. Yeah.
dime a dozen. You know what I mean? And the greats come a dime a dozen. You know, so I think he's seen a diamond in the rough, and he wasn't afraid to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got something there because I know that, like you said, they were probably licking their chops, talking about how they was gonna knock the kid out and all of
Yeah.
that. I could see it. You know what I mean? So, you know, when it was done, he couldn't, you know what I mean? He couldn't say that he ever went through nothing like that. He never was hurt, you know? So I think that kind of showed him, damn, who's this 16-year-old that can really, you know, and he can really get out the way of these shots too. You know what I mean? I mean, like we didn't get hit with nothing dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
You know? So, you know,
I
I
just
think,
wish they would have took pictures with y'all out of respect, you know, because when it comes to, you know, going to those gyms, getting sparring, that's what you're there to get work. So y'all gave them quality work. I mean, come on, reward them with a pick. It's just a pick, man. Look, your son wasn't even 1-0 yet.
right,
It's
right.
stupid, man. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that, like I said, we wish could have went another route, man. You know what I mean? Honestly, because you know that's what Lola wanted. You know, he wanted after the sparring to be able to say, "I took a flick with Tank, and I took a flick with Floyd." You know what I mean? Because you know these guys are already out there. You know, and
Yeah.
you know that's what the young guys want. You know, but unfortunately, it went like that, and because the way you know he was all pissed off is what made me say, you know what, maybe we should go ahead and let everybody know the story, you know?
Absolutely, man. And I ain't gonna lie, man. You was the smoothest rolling up on the scene.
Right,
And he
right,
was like, yeah, yeah, I just want to, you know, we went out here to Vegas and my son just sparks tanking. And that's the first time a lot of people heard of you. He's like, you know what I mean? Like we went out there and then the question say, so how did he do? Oh, he gave him the business. And we was like, we was perking up now. I was like, oh shit. You know,
right.
we want to hear about this.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And then, you know,
and
it is,
go ahead.
it made everybody look at the videos of Lolo, you know? And I know
Yeah.
that a lot of people are looking at his videos now because they want to see, can this kid really fight or is his dad blowing smoke? And I think all the people that are coming to my channel are all pretty much saying, well, he could really fight. I don't know how it went, but this kid can really fight, and we see something here. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, so you know, that's what we wanted to do. Just go ahead and look, check us out, you know, and see, you know, if I'm blowing smoke, look at how he fights. My son's had a pro style his old, you know what I mean, amateurs, you know what I mean. So he don't fight amateur like, you know. He already got a pro style. So it kind of, you know, the movement and everything, we were already used to this type of pace, you know.
Yeah. That itinerary there, Charles, you all ventured over to Mexico, TJ,
Yeah.
for him to have his first professional fight. And special as it is, that was your first time over there. So looking at the way you've been doing business, like going over to Vegas, no contacts, I really didn't have a concern about you all going over there and doing what you had to do and return. So I want to ask you this. How did you feel, man? Going on that itinerary, stepping into Mexico and, preparing yourselves that fight week. I'm not sure how many days y'all got over there ahead of time, but how did the weigh-in go? Kind of take us through the process.
Man, it was like we were virgins out there, man. Everything was we were blindfolded, honestly, man. Blindfolded, man. Being when you're like pretty much the only Americans like that, man. You're the only one speaking English in the room. You don't know what's being said and everything, and
yeah,
it showed up kind of like, man, and where do we fight? It's one of those things, and and they told us that they already have the gloves out here, and come to find out, these guys are pulling out 8-ounce gloves out their book bags. It looked like they've been beat up, and
yeah,
and
I should have went with you. I could have told you all that. I mean, that's what they do over there, dog.
I didn't know none of this, and I'm thinking it's going to be some real
What?
stuff. You know what I mean? This is some real third world country stuff going
Oh
on.
yeah.
Trying to get over it any way they can. They trying to have the edge. So, I didn't watch the kid get his hands wrapped or anything. Nobody watched that part. We just realized like they just signed it after that. Nobody watches you wrap your hands. So these kids could be putting a piece of metal into their hand wraps. I don't know what's, you know what I mean? So after, you know what I mean? Because it was so fast and everything. After I look at it now, next time I'll be so much more prepared. You know what I mean? I'll be looking out for certain things. I was still a rookie. I was still a rookie out there. You know what I mean? And me and Lolo, and we kind of. I'm gonna be honest with you. And listen to how crazy this sounds. Lolo didn't even fight with his mouthpiece in out there.
Oh man, for sure. Oh man.
His mouthpiece was in my pocket the whole time.
Oh snap.
So you see how fast it was going. I mean, we walked in and boom, he's getting in the ring and boom, taking the stuff off, and it just was so fast. It was nowhere for us to sit on the corner store. Nothing. It was kind of crazy, man. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get comfortable at the same time, watch the fight, and it was just real wild, man. It was different. You know what I mean? But next time I'll be there a lot more sharper and on my toes more.
Where y'all get y'all food from? Did you bring your own food or what?
Oh, but we went back across the border because we were staying in Chula Vista.
Okay, I got you.
Border every day, you know what I mean? And we had to 3 days straight. We had to get the COVID testing first day, and second day was the weigh-in, and third day the fights. We had to be there for the fights.
Were you the only Americans on deck, man? Fighting that night?
One other American brother down there.
Okay.
Pounder, a little taller than Lolo. He's had about 6 fights. I think he said he was 6-0.
What I liked about Lolo's performance was that his delivery. He wasn't headhunting just to show out in Mexico. He went in there disciplined. I like how he was popping either side, that hook to the body. I mean, it just seems like everything he did, it was formulated with technique, emphasis on technique. And he was popping that jab out there. And when he set up his combinations, it's almost like I can be watching. I was watching it from here. I'm like, it make you kind of cringe up a little bit. I say, damn, he really popping the body shots, really stinging. You know what I'm saying? Like stinging them with it.
Yeah.
So, and he's fighting tall too. He's not even freaking leaning down, trying to get close to the guy to catch him with a jab or anything. He's just fighting tall. And when it's time for him to even close in and hit him with a jab, he's right there within range. He looked good, man. Even though it lasted a short period of time.
Yeah.
Man, your son has unlimited potential in this sport. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
the way he boxes, it kind of reminds me of Hearns. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of, the speed of Leonard. He just has this format about him as a boxer that's a little bit ahead of where his record is right now. You know what I'm saying? He's not fighting like he's an amateur, in my opinion. I know when his competition increases, he's gonna have to make changes and stuff. But right now, his style, beautiful. So when it comes down to it, dude is on point, man.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, you did a hell of a job as a father. I have to commend you for that, because what you're doing is not an easy task, especially if you got two other sons that's in the sport also. And I think the only other family that I know for a fact that has sons, they're much older, is the Russell family.
Okay.
You know, they have Antoine and Antonio, but I think their brothers is, you know, they have one fighting bantamweight, one fighting junior welterweight, and Gary fights featherweight or whenever he chooses to move up. But yeah, you in the DC area, they over there.
Yeah.
You know, but what did you take from his performance over there? Was it little pockets, a little areas that you seen he need to improve on?
Yeah, definitely. I think he could let the fight come to him a little easier. I think he was a little anxious. I think he's looking for the big shots a little bit too much instead of just boxing. You know what I mean? So we'll tighten up a little bit more, and I think that you know, we could go about it a little bit more strategically. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you still want to be alert and have your antennas up. You know.
I think that's the reason why he was active. His antenna was up. No mouthpiece. You know, in Mexico, he wanted to go in there and stunt. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to make it worth his while, man.
Yeah.
You got a diamond in the rough, and I'm glad I was able to see you all on the ground floor, 0-0. Now I get to sit back. You know, you undefeated right now, 1-0, and build this star up.
Yeah.
You know, in the sport and see where it's at, man.
That was a beautiful thing, being able to see your son's name on the boxing rec now. Like, that's my first time seeing, you know what I mean, his name. You could look it up, you know, on the box rec. Charles Harris, 1-0, 100% KOs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Thing. So what's next? Like, I'm not asking you what's next as far as him stepping back in the ring for a match. No, I want to know what direction are you going to take to get him some more sparring? Are you just going to hang out and then hope you get that sparring with Devin Haney, or are you just going to try to switch it up and come over here to the east and see if you can get some sparring down here?
Well, sparring, as far as sparring goes, you know, it's really about getting different bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it does get tough for us at times down here in Southern California for us to get bodies for some reason. So sometimes we do got to travel, like you said. Sometimes we got to look into traveling, you know, for the work. And me being on the West Coast, of course, you know, Vegas is like almost our backyard. So that would definitely be closer. And you know, Devin Haney, of course, we'd love to share the ring with him too, man. You know.
Yeah.
Well, thing, you know what I mean? I'd love to see how it look.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see how that look, but you know, I see some people putting more sparring up now. It's the pandemic. They put more sparring up, and then, you know, some gyms, they don't want to show the sparring. I know most of the time protocol, they'll let you, you know, put a little up. They won't let you put the entire session up, you know.
But it's funny how you say that, because some guys are putting up everything or the whole sparring of stuff, and then they don't put it. You know what I mean? We could kind of say that with Tank. Tank was putting up all that sparring, but when him and LoLo sparred, how come, you know what I mean, they didn't put that one up?
I know you're putting up that Red Koch beat down, but yeah, you know, and Red Koch has a professional record already.
Or he's putting them regular guys that came to his gym up, you know, and we're like, well, why didn't you post the LoLo one, man? We want to see that. I'd love to watch it.
Yeah.
It was such a blur, you know what I mean? But I you know, of course, being a father, you do remember the shots your son gets hit with, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So more than anything, you know, when he takes a big shot, it's almost like you're taking one. You know, so you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that bond that you have. You know, so like I said, he landed that nothing big up top except the left hand. So yeah, I like.
What did you download when Tank finally landed one of his power shots? Because Tank can bang. He can light it up when he feel like it.
Right. Well, what did I think?
Yeah. What did you think about when he finally? You say if your son get hit, it's almost like you getting hit.
Yeah.
So what did you think when Tank was able to land a big shot?
When he landed that big shot, I just was. Of course, I was wondering if he was okay. My son was okay, but
Yeah.
his body posture, because his back was towards me at the time, kind of. His alignment was still straight and fine, and everything was still good. You know, I just could still see he didn't go nowhere, and you know what I mean. Matter of fact, he shuffled up, which let me know that it was like nothing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's big. That's like I said, a 16-year-old taking a big shot from a 25-year-old in his prime. Um, to me, was that was real big. He ate it like it was nothing.
Outstanding, man. That's good news to hear. If you ever on this end, man, you don't have to worry about, I'll do as much media on your son as possible, man. You just say the word when you're in town and it's popping. Get the lens out. I have all my equipment. I'll definitely make it worthwhile on whatever you want, to be
Yeah,
recorded during this training and everything, man.
maybe that's what I was telling H Money. Even the next time, you know what I mean, like that we do go to Vegas. Maybe that'd be so cold if you and H Money will be right there while him and Dad was getting that work, where it just be just the talk amongst the fellas there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We'll kind of have it for our and look.
You're going in and out a little bit, Charles. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Pac-Man, I see you. Pac-Man ATL in the building. Shout out to you. J8. Okay, yeah, you back.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I know ahead of time, man, I can make that happen. I mean, I can shoot however long it is, man. It's all good. I'm free to travel periodically or whatever. But yeah, I cover boxes on the ground floor. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It'll be a deployment for me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, facts. So yeah. When we do schedule that up, you know what I mean. Hopefully, we can have brothers like you guys up there to be able to see that live. You know what I mean, coverage. Because and I think it'll look real nice. You know what I mean.
If you have any sparring anywhere close, near the East Coast or whatever the case, that's drivable. Yeah, I'll definitely take a trip up there. Period. Period.
Around
No ifs, ands, or buts.
what's that around the East Coast? He said.
Yeah, I'm saying whenever you get sparring, you know how people, once his name start growing there, Charles, people gonna start calling him for sparring. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be outside California because it's a lot of boxing over here on this coast, man.
I
It's a
know it.
lot,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we love it. We love to do that, But like you said, we right now we're just focus on the work that we could get right now and everything that's close to us to keep them rolling with these fights in Mexico, man. We just got to have bodies, you know what I mean? We don't got to have the best bodies. We got to have bodies to work on what we need to work on.
Absolutely. And he's contending at 130 right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. He like what, 6 what?
He like 5'9".
5'9". He looked way taller than that. At least he fight like that in the ring. He
Yeah,
fights tall, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's what's up, man. I know it's getting a little late over there, man. And you always have an open invitation, Charles. Once
Thank,
again, from man to man, I salute you for what you're doing with your family.
thank you.
It's not an easy task raising men, and not only men, but you got some lions over there, bro. And I'm happy to be able to see these lions maturate and grow up the chain of boxing and go out there and compete on the battlefield. I can't wait. You know, I hope I'm able to attend some of the fights and, you know, get some nice little steals. But since the pandemic has changed, it's changing up everything, bro. So most of the stuff is just done outside in the gyms now.
Yeah. When you get a chance, check out his little brother in the middle, Isaiah Harris. He's all over in my same YouTube videos. If you scroll down, check out his little brother. You'll see the pedigree that he looks like. You know what I mean? Where he's almost like Lolo too. You'll see the footwork and everything, man. So
yeah, he's fighting at 80 right now, right?
#1 in the nation at 80.
Yeah, #1 in the nation at 80. For those of you that's tuned in, and I heard you say, I don't know if it was Isaiah, but you said in order for him to get to the kitchen, he got to get us a couple of sets here. You know what I'm saying? he got to get a couple of sets. I listen to these interviews, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm constantly messing with these guys in here, man. That's the lovely part about having all these boys. They ain't got to hear too much whining. They got to fight their way out of this. You know what I mean? And whether I grab them or whether I start punching, you know what I'm saying? They got to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But hey, tell your son Lolo, salute, congratulations to him, and also to you, Charles, and the family. Man, congratulations. Thanks for giving me an interview afterwards. You know, you always have an invitation. Now that I got your contact, definitely, man, I'm gonna stay on tap and you know, see what y'all got popping off in the boxing community. Where can they follow Lolo on the social media?
Okay.
Where can they follow him on social media, Charles?
Lolo the coldest _1 on Instagram. Lolo the coldest _1.
Lolo the coldest on Instagram, y'all. You heard it right here. Just go over there and follow this young warrior that's coming up in the game. This is his father, Charles Harris. He has another son that he wants you to check out. #1 in the nation at 80 kilograms. And guess what? You know, he has the pedigree too. Salute, man. Thanks for dropping through. Real talk. I appreciate it. And be safe out there, man.
All right, you too, bro. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Gusto in the building, man. Hey, that was my interview with Charles Harris and his son, just turning professional. He's 1-0 undefeated, returned back from Mexico, Tijuana. And you heard what they said, man. I can understand. Like when I heard they was going over to Tijuana, there was a lot of things I wanted to tell them. I just kind of kept it to myself because I didn't want to seem like I was sending them into a storm. But some of the parts he hit on was he didn't get to see his opponent's hand wrap. And yes, that goes on in Mexico, for real. That type of stuff goes on. It was good. They was able to cross back over the border and get the food and everything. The mouthpiece deal, you know, he went in there with a mouthpiece. You're moving in a whirlwind when you go over there. Especially if you have the fighter and you're going there for the first time, it's a whirlwind. But the second time you go over there, you're going to have much more etiquette, awareness as to what's going on over TJ, because he's definitely going back over there. He's 16 years old. He will touch bases back over there, TJ, for another opponent. And guess what? That's what happens in the sport of boxing. So for anyone who called boxers a bum, they have to go back and understand that the building phase begins in places like the DR, you know, Mexico, and places over here in the regional level. It happens all the time, people. So salute to Lolo the coldest, his father, Charles Harris, and definitely was a pleasure being able to interview them for the first time. King Mitch said, what's combat, what up? What's good? Okay, Gusto in the building. Salute to all. I don't know why you don't. Okay. But Chain TC, you always saying something crazy. Hey. That's why I had to remove his wrench, man. Listen, the wrenches that's out there, they have to know boxing, man. I'm not asking you to be a boxing historian, man, an almanac, any of that type of literature. But I just want you to be able to have a dialogue. And then if you're not getting your way, you don't go ahead in the live chat and just start talking reckless and crazy and disrupting the focal point. Because, you know, I'm trying to learn from y'all too. So you start talking crazy. Hey, you know, I saw what he was saying. You know, I saw what he was saying in the chat, but I ain't say anything because Pac-Man, he's in the camp. So whatever questions or whatever he's saying about Wilder, he can pretty much take that up with Pac-Man, who was in the chat. I'm not sure if he's still here or not. I would chat with him though. Pac-Man, you still in the building or not? He might be gone already. But yeah, I had to get on here. I had to leave the other chat, man, over there with H Money. You know, I came over here because I had this interview to set up. So therefore, I had to knock that out, of course. But I am definitely, my next live will be mixed martial arts. It's a lot that's going on to mixed martial arts and bare knuckle fighting championship. It's not going to only just be a Muddy Flats episode, but we're going to talk about what I mentioned a while ago about cross-promoting competition. Dana White has shut it down, but now Scott Coker has thrown out the gauntlet, and Dana White has responded. Scott Coker of Bellator basically said, my light heavyweight division is better than yours. So now Dana White, who loves saying no because he didn't think of it himself, he may indeed get to a point to cross-promote fights from Bellator to UFC and see who's the best, who's the creme de la creme. I'm going to tell you right, my first fight in Bellator, who I would want to see cross-promote, is Douglas the Phenom Lima, period. Douglas Lima has some of the most brutal kicks in mixed martial arts. He's currently campaigning at welterweight. I want to see him fight Kamaru Usman while he's still a champion. But in the interim, Douglas Lima is trying to move up the middleweight and fight Gegard Mousasi. He's trying to be champ. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he has a school down here, and I fully support them before they had their school. But he's the same one who knocked out Michael Venom Page. He caught Michael Venom Page darting in close distance, you know, with that Taekwondo style in and out. He clipped him on a low calf kick on the outside with his right leg. And once Venom Page hit the ground, he shot an uppercut right off the chin, knocked him out cold. But that's the first one I want to see if they cross promote. I want to see Douglas Lima face Kamaru Usman. Now, if you're talking about heavyweight, forget about heavyweight, because Stipe, in my opinion, would dust Ron Bader. But light heavyweight, you know, we're just getting Juan Blachowicz and Dominique Reyes now to fight for the vacant. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I mean, TC is really nothing. You're not debating Wilder fans. They're just saying wait because Wilder hasn't said anything, and they pretty much understand if you get a healthy Wilder and he's 100%, he's definitely going to go in there and look different against Tyson Fury. I mean, it's not much to debate. We can't really debate the way the fight turned out. The fight was stopped. Fury didn't stop him. The towel stopped him. Yeah, he was taking punishment. Yeah, he was bleeding from the ear and everything else. But the debate isn't that. It's not the fact that Tyson Fury won. He won. The only debate that is anchored on the surface for the talking points is what? How did Fury win? Was it legitimate? Don't come up with all these commissions was there looking. I've been to fights where commissions wasn't looking, where they wasn't doing what they supposed to. Mauricio Suleiman said he was in the building. Yeah, he was in the building, but what he wasn't back there watching them getting their hand wraps and everything else that took place. It's not excuses. It's the fact that you have a man with 41 knockouts and 42 victories. Guess what? You can't sit up here and say he fought bums. You can't say that the heavyweight division was that convoluted. You know what I'm saying? And that degraded that somehow, some way, no one else would face Luis Ortiz but Deontay Wilder, and he knocked him out twice. The only man at that point in time before Tyson Fury to go the distance was Bermane Stiverne. He gave Bermane Stiverne a rematch. His toughest fight, closed him out in one round. You know what I'm saying? Fought Luis King Kong Ortiz twice. Fought Tyson Fury twice. Knocked out Dominique Breazeale. He fought some of the best in the heavyweight division that he had access to. What more can you want? You know what I'm saying? What more can you want from the champ? So next time he's champ, all I'm asking for you all is to show him his respect and support him when he comes into the arena and cheer him on instead of booing him for no damn reason. You know what I'm saying? You got the one loss. Now build up yourself to support the U.S. champ. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Build up yourself because it's you. Build up yourself and support the U.S. champ when he becomes heavyweight champ again. Because it's no need for him to walk into an arena with his people in it. In the Staples Center, they boo him. There's no need for him to walk into the MGM and they booing him. That's disrespectful. That's almost like, for me, to be honest, if I was a fighter and I was in that position, I say fuck the fans. I say I fight for my family and me because that's the way I started. I started fighting for my family and myself. So I like fuck the fans. I ain't saying shit. They don't love me. Fuck them. I ain't saying shit. I'm gonna have them come to me. You know, if I'm talking to the fans and everything else, and they still boo me, cool. I got it. And then if I don't say nothing to the fans, what they gonna say then? Oh, he's stuck up. He arrogant. Nah, it don't fucking work that way, man. It wasn't 90% UK people, okay? You can't say it was 90% UK people in California and also MGM Grand, Vegas. Can't say that. I said when Wilder wins the next fight, you need to post a public apology. If Fury wins, I do the same. Yeah, for real. And, you know, if Fury, win, which I don't prognosticate Fury winning, but if by chance he wins, it's boxing. You know, he's able to get in there and he was able to get the win again. But I forecast that Deontay Wilder will come back in there much more healthier and get that shit done the right way. I have faith in him, man. I have faith in the champ. The king will rise, man. I have faith in him. I heard that from Blue Blood. Don't quote me. Like I said, when Wilder wins the next fight, you need to put people are booing. I'm just you're talking. I'm just trying to understand what you're talking about. You heard it from Blue. Oh, okay. I mean, I have my own take. I think Wilder comes in there. It would have been around 9 months training for him to change up anything. That's ample amount of times. I mean, that's not an 8-week camp. That's not a 12-week camp. Come on, man. That's like a 16-week camp minimal. That's ample amount of time to be in shape, to train, to remediate whatever he's polishing up, and to go in there and whenever they fight, even if they fight in 2020, it may go to 2021, but still, he should be good to go. He should be good to go, man. Oh, okay, no problem. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. But y'all know what it is, man. Appreciate you stopping through. Like I said, it's going to be a very in-depth Muddy Flats episode speaking about Bellator, UFC, and bare knuckle fighting. There's a lot of big things that's going on with bare knuckle fighting, and I look to bring you the interview with a current champion of bare knuckles. So I really don't want to put it out there right yet, because if it don't go down, y'all support WCS and say, man, what that interview you was talking about. But I hope to get that interview in person with one of the champs over there at bare knuckle fighting, and all the other interviews that I'm trying to line up. I've been waiting for Teofimo Lopez. Tio, you see my freaking contact. Come on, man. Let me get the interview, dog. You know who I am. We don't talk before. I need to get that interview, man. I need to holler at you for a minute. I need to ask you some questions for real. I need to talk to you and ask you some questions, man. So, do us a favor. Talk to the new media, man. Don't talk to just one media. Talk to the media. You know what I'm saying? You know who I am, man. We talked before. So I really want that interview with Teofimo Lopez too, leading up to this fight. Said, why the not niggas off his back foot before it's nothing? Yeah, can Paige Van Zandt survive in bare knuckles? King Mitch, good question. You know what? That's gonna be on my episode, right? Paige Van Zandt, 8-5. Look, Paige Van Zandt is 2 out of 3 on her last 5 fights. That means she's won 2, lost 3. All right. She's lost to the likes of Michelle Waterson, Thug Rose Namajunas, most recently Amanda Hebos. So all I'm seeing with Thug Rose, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing with not Thug Rose, Paige Van Zandt. They need a pretty face over there to boost it up, right? And Paige Van Zandt give you that quirky type, fan-friendly media personality. She's good for the camera, but of course she gives a easy on the eyes type of vibe for bare knuckles that they didn't have before, right? As far as her going over there, I'll just leave that to my next episode, man. I have my thoughts on Paige Van Zandt now being at bare knuckles. Of course, she turned down some fight because she's not ready yet. So she's got to get herself in gear and see who she want to go up against first. But that's all for me. Y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. And thanks for stopping through. Subscribe to the channel, man. Pass the word and share the content. Salute to you.